Hey, what's up? It's Bon. Let's talk about Starfield. Specifically, let's talk about why I'm excited for Starfield. There's been a lot of buzz going around, I've seen in the last week or two, where there's a lot of conversations happening about Starfield. I think people are getting the feeling that that game is, coming sooner than later. And it's really interesting seeing the conversation about it because I saw a tweet where someone said, "Are you excited about Starfield?" And someone else responded like, "Yeah, of course I am. It's Starfield, right?" And you saw some responses, people saying things like, "Oh, look at Bethesda's last few games, and they aren't the same as they were before. This isn't the same Bethesda. Todd Howard has lost it, or whatever." And to me, that's a very short-sighted take. I understand that Fallout 76 has not helped Bethesda's reputation, right? The thing about Bethesda is that they do what they do well. And what they tried to do with Fallout 76 was to try to do something that they don't do. To do this multiplayer co-op live service thing. As we've seen from every large developer and publisher, the live service game is hard. The people who do it the best, whether it's Bungie with Destiny, Digital Extremes with Warframe, or even going to World of Warcraft and things like that, none of them do it perfectly. And in fact, even good studios with good games struggle, whether it's like Massive with the Division series, whether it's the developers of Outriders, or the myriad of other live service games that had good ideas, maybe even had good starts, but just couldn't, finish, because that's the hard part with live service. Well, with Fallout 76, that's the issue that you ran into. They collaborated with some other studios to try to insert multiplayer into this ancient engine they use, and that had its own problems. They, had to worry about an economy for the first time, in the sense of, with players, not just a single player and NPCs. They bit off more than they could chew with Fallout 76, right? So while, some people may take that game as a excuse to denigrate or, kind of make it seem like Bethesda lost its step, I don't. I think it was a experiment that didn't go great, has gotten better, it seems. But I don't see it the same way. And then I assume when people say this stuff, that they are also talking about Fallout 4. Fallout 4 is a really good game. It's when it came out, it wasn't everything people wanted, even myself. We had gotten Fallout 3, we had gotten New Vegas, we'd gotten some DLCs that were all pretty legendary. And then Fallout 4, I do believe, was a big step forward in a lot of ways. At the time, graphically, I think the gunplay improved a lot, considering how awful it is in New Vegas or Fallout 3. But then in other ways, just the simple story itself, not everyone connected with. It didn't feel like your choices were as impactful as previous games. But Fallout 4 was still a really good game. And I think that when you look at that and you look at the Elder Scrolls games, I mean, you have a game like Skyrim that is legendary, that is second to Grand Theft Auto 5 in its longevity and its the number of platforms it's been released on and definitive upgrades that have been released for it. But Bethesda doesn't miss often, and that's why I'm excited about Starfield, because it's their first new IP in 25 or 30 years. A lot of people don't realize that Fallout isn't even their IP. They got it from another development studio who now makes the Wasteland series. And Elder Scrolls is theirs, but Skyrim was the last one, and we probably aren't going to see Elder Scrolls 6 for a while. So I look at the combination of, this is their first new IP in a really long time, like since I was a child. This, they've been willing to delay it. I think that them being part of Xbox now was a big factor in that. I think if Bethesda ZeniMax was still on its own, I think that Starfield would have come out like last month and they would have just worked on it. I think that this entirely new take on their formula, like being in space, having different planets instead of one extremely large map, I think all of those things are reason for me to be excited. It seems like they're going back to their roots with the conversation system and the way that you interact with people, the way that they do skills and backgrounds and things like that. People just don't realize that they've already said they've recorded the most lines they've ever recorded for a game. I believe it's around 250,000 lines. One of the fun parts about Fallout has always been that you can play Fallout over and over again and get extremely different endings, get extremely different events during the game, and they can all be very dependent on little side missions you do, little side discoveries you do, how you upgrade your character, and how you use those upgrades to use unique dialogue prompts, or not be able to do those, whether you go into a town and murder everyone to move on with your story, or you go in and you complete tasks, or you trick people, or so on and so forth. All of that stuff, all of the things that make Bethesda games, things that Fallout 76 maybe didn't exemplify in the best possible way. All of those things are the reason I am excited about Starfield, and why I think most other people should be too. I don't think people realize that despite the bugs it's definitely gonna have, despite the jank it's probably gonna have, there is going to be a core experience that only Bethesda can provide, and that should be really exciting for people. It should be really exciting for anyone who likes RPG style games. This game is going to be a juggernaut in that space, even if it's a 7 out of 10 game. And it's because they just have a soul and they have a depth that it doesn't seem like other developers can really match. So there it is. That's why I'm excited about Starfield, and why I think you probably should be too. If you like this video, you want to hear more about my thoughts on Starfield, other games, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment down below with what you are thinking with Starfield. Make sure to check out my podcast on all podcast networks. It's called the Echo Cast. It's a weekly news podcast, and I also do some interviews with other gamers and developers. Please check me out on social media as Bond Diesel, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, basically anywhere you can try to find me. I'm probably there as Bond Diesel. And that's all I have for this one. So until next time.